Welcome to the Champion Within podcast, your go-to spot for unlocking a winning mindset. Whether you're an athlete chasing greatness, a parent cheering from the sidelines, a coach leading the charge, or an educator shaping young minds, this pod party is for you. Hey, if we haven't met before, I'm Kate McCauley, your pod party host, former educator turned mindset mentor. I get to meet people where they are and get them to where they want to go. Expect awesome guest conversations with athletes, some solo chats to level up, and always leave this pod party with quick, powerful strategies to help you and your crew push past limits, embrace challenges, and crush goals both on and off the field. Let's tap into the champion within, because greatness is just a mindset away. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on the Champion Within today. I am really excited to share with you a group of athletes and the athletic director from Penn State Brandywine. If you've been paying attention to anything I do, you know I am obsessed with Penn State, and that is where I went. Today, this is extra special for me. I actually have a freshman at Penn State Brandywine. I know it doesn't seem like I'm that old. And to be able to talk with athletes when I'm a former athlete, at the time, it was Penn State Delco. For all my Penn State Delco people, I know you listen to the podcast. You're probably going to have some flashbacks of our times there. It's way better now. I'm a little jealous of all of the things that they get to do there. But we're going to learn from them, their experience about how they got here. They have some epic wisdom that I've already done some stalking on that I want to ask a little bit more about. Lean in. Let's learn from them, my coaches, my parents, my athletes. Listen and see how you can make this uniquely yours. Bobbi, I'm going to start with you. Thank you for inviting everyone to come on to the podcast today. And if you just want to introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll let everybody do the same.
Kate, well, thanks so much for having us as well. This is just as exciting for us with you being a Brandywine alum, Delco alum, I know, and being a former student athlete. It's really special for us to join you as well. My background, so I'm also born and raised Delco, Marple Newtown alum. I went to Penn State Brandywine, graduated in 2013. And I've been working here since graduation. I specifically been in the athletic director role for the last 7 years. It's been a fun journey. As you know, we're transitioning into the NCAA right now. So we have a lot going on within the department. And it's just been an honor to kind of lead the charge. These 4 individuals that we have with us, we really have a lot of great student athletes, but these 4 specifically, handpicked to speak with you today. I'm excited to have them share a little bit about their journey because all 4 of them are really special.
Thank you so much. I was very grateful that you reached out to everyone and talked them into joining us today. We're just going to bounce around. If each one of you want to tell us what you are majoring in, what sports you play, and if you have any other details, maybe you want to give a shout out like Bobbi just did to your high school, whether it's local or somewhere else, do that. I think it's important to talk about where we came from. You know, that shout out to Marple. I'm a Ridley girl from the Delco area, so I won't get into the Marple Ridley thing at all, but I think it is important to acknowledge where you come from, and you're welcome to do that or not. You don't have to do that too. So you have the opportunity when it's your turn. But Anna, just because I see you on the screen here, no pressure, but you're going to go first. Tell us a little bit about who you are and your time here at Brandywine.
I'm a second year at Penn State Brandywine. Last year we won nationals, softball team won nationals for a second time in a row, so that's exciting. I plan on majoring in biology and taking that major to go into the athletic training field and physical therapy. I've been talking to Vince, our athletic trainer, about shadowing. He's a really good resource, great athletic trainer for the athletes at Brandywine. I am involved in a lot of nutritional things on the side and in the gym, so that's something I'm into. My mom did grow up in Delco. She went to Upper Darby. My parents are from South Philly, though. So.
Very cool. I love the shout outs too, especially South Philly. My husband's from Southwest, so he always likes to remind people I'm not Delco when we're somewhere. All right, so we're just going to go around. Sierra, I see you next on my screen anyway. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Sierra. I'm a senior at Penn State Brandywine. My major is communications, and after school I plan on working in sports marketing or sports media. I went to Interborough, so I do live in Delaware County. I play basketball. This is my 4th year playing, and then this is my first year running cross country. In my free time, I like to just hang out with my friends, which Brandywine has brought me my best friends, and I also like to work out, like lift and stuff outside of basketball.
Jamar, tell us a little bit about who you are.
My name is Jamar. I am a 5th year senior. I'm a communications major, and I am on the men's basketball team. This is my 5th year playing. And I would say on my free time, I just like to hang out with family and friends just because during the basketball season and school year, it's not a lot of downtime. So when I get that time, I like to spend it with loved ones.
All right, very cool. Lexi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Lexi. I'm a 4th year psych major, Bachelor of Science. I was on the volleyball team. We just finished our last season. I'm actually a military kid, so before Brandywine, I came from South Korea. And after school, I want to use my degree to do behavioral analysis and like forensic psych, forensic interviewing with like criminals, juveniles, that kind of thing.
Very cool. So I think each of you have a very unique journey, and I think that you have a lot of wisdom to share. They're being very humble. When I did my stalking, there's a lot going on there. Jamar, I want to talk about something that I saw, and you might be thinking, uh-oh, what did she say? But probably not, because I think you're probably an awesome person. I was looking at Huddle, and of course, I'm a basketball girl. I love basketball. I looked at a couple of the films, of course, just seeing your sweet moves, but I also did notice that you put on there, once I graduate high school, I would like to attend college. Athletics are important, but I feel academics are even more important because one day the ball will stop bouncing. And I think this is so important. Doesn't matter if you're a basketball player, whatever you're doing, and even if you're not an athlete listening to my podcast, there is going to be a day when you stop doing the thing that is your passion for whatever reason. One, what a great piece of wisdom to put out there. I'm thinking you did that at the end of high school when you were thinking about going to college. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and how do you feel about that right now?
So it's something that me and my mom really focus on, just because like the quote said, one day the ball will stop bouncing. So just to be able to have something to lean back on, academics really will help in the future career.
Yeah, definitely. When the ball stops bouncing, that can be hard for people. I heard Lexi say that you just finished volleyball. And for people in general, when you finish a sport, and when I say finish, of course you can play the sport, but not at a competitive level always. If you're not playing high school, sometimes people don't get to play college. If you end that high school career or a college career, you don't always move on to the next level. Lexi, Jamar, anyone can answer this. Bobbi, do you have any tips or insight that you would give to someone how you can still love the game, or plans after playing, what you would say to someone?
I'll jump in. It's definitely a tough transition for a lot of our student athletes when their career is done, especially in this time. We have a lot of students, like Jamar, that got an extra year of eligibility. They got that extra time to be around it, despite the season loss, of course. It has, kind of given, especially this group of student athletes, kind of like one more year to hang around, or the opposite, where they've finished their year of eligibility, but they're still in school for one more year. They completed their athletic eligibility, but they still have one more year towards graduation. I know that's always a tough time for our student athletes because they kind of feel like they lost that sense of connection and that team. They're no longer a student athlete, but yet they, are still around. My advice for all of our student athletes is to stay connected however you can to the sport. And there's so many opportunities. First, I'll give a plug. NCAA is doing a big push for student athletes to become officials, referees. There is a big lack right now in people willing to, go into those roles, and we need them. If we don't have enough officials, college sports won't be sustainable, and every level. Student athletes can certainly think about getting on that side of the sport. Additionally, coaching, there's so many opportunities. I know when I was done my basketball career, I went back and first started coaching at my, local CYO, school, and in, both basketball and softball, just have a touch point. And then that kind of took me up. Then, I was coaching in athletes at the high school level, and then ultimately, here at Penn State Brandywine. And for me, that's really what helped me stay connected. So that's always my advice to our student athletes. There's so many different opportunities. Just stay connected however your schedule allows.
I love all of that advice. And I think you need to realize that as a student athlete, you have gained so many skills that can carry over into those things. That freshman that I talked about, he's probably going to kill me when he hears that I'm sharing all of this information. I told him that I was talking today. He said, "You're going to be on campus?" I said, "No, I'm not going to campus. Relax. You're not going to have to see me." But he actually just did football and basketball for PIAA. He's going to do the youth, I assume. He's getting on the different chambers. I guess you have to sign up. It's a great way for you to stay involved or coaching. I love that, and being connected in some way. I too was coaching afterwards, and it's a different type of involvement with the sport, but you still get the love of the game. I love that advice there. The networking and people that you are connected with. I know Sierra mentioned it, and I think I might have read about it maybe on a couple of your posts on Get to Know the Athlete on the Penn State webpage. You mentioned your teammates and how sometimes, I think it was Lexi had said the first time she arrived here, being a student who came from Korea, from a military base, that you were a walk-on and that these athletes became your friends. And for me personally, my friends from Penn State who were on the basketball team with me are still some of my closest friends, even though it could be through text message or I see them at random times throughout the year. These women have been such a huge part of my life. And I know at any moment I could text them and they will be at my back door if they have to fly in, even some of them who live far away. Tell me, if you can, about how did that impact you? I know, Lexi, I definitely read that about you. Sierra, you might have even mentioned it when you were talking about yourself initially today. How have your friendships in sport at Brandywine helped you or impacted the journey?
I think for me, it made it 10 times better than what it would have been personally. Well, you've read it, I guess. I was a walk-on. I kind of just emailed the coach, showed up one day and was like, "Hey, I played in Korea. I don't have film. Can I play?" And funny enough, the girls actually hated me at first because they thought I was going to be like, no one had any idea who I was. No one had any clue. They thought I wasn't going to be good, all the like sports stuff. But then we all got to know each other.
How do you know they hated you? Just because some other people might be like, "I know what you're talking about." Give people an example before you finish that story. When you say the girls hated me, what happened?
So maybe hate is a strong word, but I know
because I think that's a possibility. I don't want to say they didn't.
it's a thing, yeah. Well, I know I've obviously became friends with them, and they would tell me, like, I know one girl, she called me the wrong name on purpose, and I was just like, aha, it's Lexi, like, whatever, or silly stuff like that. They wouldn't be mean or like vicious or anything, but they would call me the wrong name or, purposely see if I was good here or here and kind of like almost test me, I guess, to see if is she actually cool? Is she actually good? Does she know what she's doing, kind of thing? And that honestly brought us closer, I think, with quite a few of the girls, because now we can joke about it and look back and be like, "Hey, remember when you thought I was terrible at volleyball and so you were like, ew," and now we joke all the time. And I think that having those friendships and even bonding with the staff is what actually kept me at Brandywine.
So how did
because
you
I was so
bond
far.
with the staff? How did that happen?
It was actually the first job I got stateside, was working with the athletic department, and just seeing how welcoming they were and making connections in the staff in other sports. And they supported me. A couple of the staff could tell when I had an off day, or they could tell when I wasn't feeling it, and they would reach out to me. I didn't always reach out to them. They would sometimes be like, "Hey, you're having a bad day, I can tell." And that was kind of like, oh, okay, wow, you really pay attention to your athletes, you see it, and you're willing to be there for them. And that's kind of what kept me at Brandywine, is how tight-knit the community can get, especially in the athletic department, I feel.
That is such an amazing piece to have in your college experience in general, and especially when you're in sport. And I'm laughing to myself. I was laughing a little when she said they were saying the wrong name. They were trying to see if I was strong enough to handle this. And I will just say right now, some of my closest friends, who some of them I did play sports with, they were like, "We thought you were a bitch at first, and now we're best friends." And vice versa. Sometimes I thought that too. And it's just, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing with females sometimes, but it does happen. And I'm torn. Sometimes I'm with groups of girls and there's a lot of drama. And I think we have to build each other up. I think we have to find a balance. And it sounds like that's what happened on the volleyball team. But if there was a girl right now in your situation, and even the walk-on part, I think that takes a lot of confidence. If there's someone right now who maybe wants to play at the college level, but didn't get recruited, and maybe they're a military kid or maybe not, and they have to send that email, they don't have film, what advice would you give them, Lexi?
I think the biggest advice, and I got it from my parents, was the worst they're going to say is no. And I would have regretted not saying anything more than the no would have hurt me. So even though you might not have the film, you might not have as much experience as the other athletes, it's not going to hurt to just put yourself out there. And
Yep.
like the no is going to be better than what if I could have, what if I would have done this? And even for myself, like that would have hurt so much more than just, hey, can I at least try out? Could we have a conversation? Like something little is better than nothing at all, I think.
And if you don't go for it, there's that regret in life. That goes for everything. Somebody's listening right now thinking, I kind of want to do that. Do it. Life is short. You need to go for it. You don't know how many days you have here and what's going to happen next. Send the email, ask. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. You need to ask. And I mean, now you have these amazing people in your life. You've made so many connections. I like to tell people, if not this, something better. You just never know what will come from that ask. So great advice. Anna or Sierra, you both could answer this. You both, and Anna did tell me in the beginning, she really only plays softball, but I know Sierra does basketball and cross country. Somehow they talked to Anna into running at least one race. But how is it that, Sierra, you're playing basketball and then they talked you into cross country? Tell me a little bit about that. How did that happen? Did you come in as a basketball player and then they said, hey, we need you to come run for us? What happened there?
Yeah, this is my first year running cross country, and I believe they didn't have enough runners, and they had asked me to do it. And I figured, yes, I would do it to not only help them, but to also help myself, to get in shape and condition for basketball. And I mean, even though I play basketball, I hate running. Like, I absolutely hate it. Just going to the meets. We only had 5 meets. It wasn't too bad, honestly. It really wasn't too bad. And then some of my friends that I played on the basketball team with played. And then also my brother. He's a freshman here. He ran too. It was nice to be able to get that time together, because in high school, it would have been, well, I was a senior, he would have been a freshman, but then COVID, we didn't really get that time in school together. So now that he's here, it's like, it's kind of fun. And he hangs out with me and all my friends all the time. So it's great.
That's cool.
But yeah, overall, it was okay. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel you on that running thing. My daughter is a junior in high school and she's a cross country runner. I kind of think she's nuts, to be honest, because she just runs so many miles a week. And I go out and run. I do more of interval running, and people tell me, oh, she's just out running around the neighborhood of Ridley waving to people. I'm like, yeah, she's nuts. And I go to these cross country meets, and I got to tell you, this is a whole new world for me. I grew up on a basketball court. My dad literally had me in a driveway with a sling on my right arm so I could go left to the basket. I mean, I come from a basketball family. Basketball is a lot of what we did. We played other sports too. But when I'm at these cross country meets, the first one, I was there. We're at the start, and then all these parents start running to the next place so that they could find their children in the woods. I'm like, oh, I guess this is what we do. I'm hustling to get there. And then by the third meet, I'm like, I am not running into the woods at every spot. So I will go to different spots on the course, and I am so loud. They're not loud there, but I'm loud, like a basketball coach. That's how I was as a coach too. So I'm like, get it, Kylie, and like to her like teammates and everything. And they're always like, Kylie's mom's here. I love that, they have this endurance, and there's a lot that I think they learn from it. But what did you learn that you could take to the basketball court? Because if I was your basketball coach, that's what I would want to know. Did you learn anything from it?
Yeah, so I learned that overall, it's all about the mental part. As long you can do anything that you want to do, even if you think you can't and you think the body can't tolerate certain things, you can do it. I told myself the first meet, I didn't practice with them because we would have open gym and stuff for basketball. So I would just show up to the meet and run. I told myself, if there's someone in front of you, just pass them, then you can jog or walk for a little bit, and then you catch up to the next person, you pass them, but don't let no one behind you get back in front of you. So I think it's all about the mental part. And then to take down the basketball court, same thing. It's only 40 minutes. Just push yourself. And yeah, you're going to get the results that
Sierra,
you want.
were you saying that in your head as you were running?
Yes, I was.
So you had that self-talk going on.
Yes,
I'm
the whole
obsessed
entire
with you,
week.
Sierra. I'm obsessed with you because I teach this to people, the self-talk and visualization. I do mindset with college athletes, corporate people, all kinds of different people, little kids even. I love that. And people think sometimes with the mindset that it has to be this like crazy thing. Let's all get around a tree and hold hands. You can do that if you want, but you don't have to do it that way. It can be exactly what Sierra just said. Pass that person in front of me. I can do this. Let's go. And when you said you can then take that to the basketball court and just change the words. I love it. I don't even know if you were purposely doing that or not. Do you do self-talk on a regular basis in other ways?
Yeah, I kind of like to do that for anything in my life just because life is hard. And, like I said, anything you put your mind to, you can get it done. It's all about the mental part. And if you get past that, then you're good.
Obsessed. I'm obsessed. Who else does any type of mindset, self-talk, visualization? Bobbi, athletes, does anyone do that purposefully, or you're thinking right now, oh, I actually do that too?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I've always been really big with mindfulness and just positive self-talk in every aspect of my life, from being a college athlete to now as an adult. I certainly utilize all those skills in every aspect of my life. Even as a mother, sometimes I'm like, all right, Bobbi, you got to stay focused here. We're going into this tough day, being positive and everything, everything will work out. But it's true what a positive way it can affect your life to just be in a positive mindset.
Very true. When I was a teacher for 20 years, there was a lot of stressful days there, and I loved what I did. I loved my students, but there was some rough days. That means that when I was a mom for those 3 kids who are here in my house, sometimes I would bring that stress home, and I would even feel it in the morning if I knew I was going into a stressful day. I always tried to not bring it to them. I started doing something. My youngest guy is an 8th grader, and he has a uniquely beautiful brain, which means ADHD, dyslexia, auditory processing, also kind of a pain in my ass, and does stuff at school. He pulled the fire alarm once, and yelled, "It works." He's that kid, and he's really bright. He's creative. He's not into the sport. It was at stage crew in the plays, and just like at cross country, I'm like, "You are amazing on that light." And all the parents are like, "I'm afraid of you." I have started with him in the morning, and it was kind of weird at first, but we're on the same team. And I give him a little fist bump. Like, we're not going to argue today. Let's get it. And then he'll just be like, ugh, because it's not like he's like, yay. But I'm like, we're on the same team here. We got to get to school. You got to eat. Put your shoes on. Where are they? Those little things, like you said, being a mom, that carries over. And I think, like we were saying earlier, you get those things from sport. It just becomes who you are. Hey there, before we dive back into the pod party, how about we sneak out for a quick break? Feeling the weight of the daily grind? Our workshops and staff development programs are your backstage pass to success. We're here to arm you and your leadership squad with the tools to ace those goals, tame stress, and foster a winning culture. Forget the boring seminars. Our workshops are all about real connections and real results. Whether it's virtual or in person, we're here to elevate your success. After the show, visit shop.danonow.com to learn more and set up a free call to chat. We tailor our programs to fit your needs and goals. Let's get back to the show. Grab your virtual goodie bags so you can fill them up with all of the mindset magic. Anna, I saw you talk a little bit about I think it was maybe an interview, Get to Know Our Players, that you went to Penn State to help you for a successful career and softball team. How do you think those two things are related for you? Do you think being on the softball team is going to help you in that future career, and how so?
I definitely think it helps with the mindset aspect of being successful. It's definitely an easier way to motivate myself, knowing that going to practice every day is going to result in winning because nobody wants to lose. We also just have a really great coach. I think that honestly, when I'm in season, I'm more locked in and focused on school, just because I know that my free time is going to school. If I'm not at softball, I'm doing school. So I think it helps me translate and staying focused on the things that I need to prioritize.
Love it. I'm going to ask everyone this question. And I don't want you to name anyone's names because we're not trying to start any trouble here. But let's be honest, on your journey here to be a college athlete, it was not all sunshine and rainbows. I'm sure you didn't ride a unicorn to every one of your AAU games or practice, or even today. Who knows? You could have had a rough moment. And sometimes that can be from the bleachers. It can be people coming up to you saying, this is what I think you should do. Or, a lot of advice unsolicited sometimes. And some of it's good, some of it not so great. If you could share something that maybe somebody said to you when you were a young player, and that could be as little as elementary school, it could be middle school, high school, it could be, even a young college athlete. Does anyone want to start with that?
Sure, I can start.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I know that for softball, travel softball is really big. That's where you're going to get mostly recruited from. High school, I didn't have a great experience, which happens, honestly, I feel like for a lot of students that are in high school. I just wasn't liked because, little loud, assertive, I brought energy to my team that I thought I was going to play on. Obviously, it did not result in that. I just made the executive decision to not play high school softball, which honestly, it benefited me in every aspect. Mentally, physically, it was never really an issue. You just that's self-discipline. That's something that you learn along the way. Mentally, I think I was the best decision I ever made. I just worked as hard as I could in travel, and travel softball is what got me to Brandywine almost by accident because I didn't even know Brandywine was a school. But I was approached by our coach who's phenomenal at recruiting, and I came here, toured, and committed that day. It was just I knew, I came here and I knew. But with that being said, going through that in high school, which is already a mentally challenging time in a lot of people's lives, it definitely benefited me. So I'm thankful I did that then instead of later on.
Can we just acknowledge everyone who's listening and the group of us here? You made an executive decision. Okay. I love the way you said that. I hope everyone listening, parent, athlete, coach, if somebody's struggling right now, go and tell that player, whether they play softball, basketball, volleyball, or they run track, whatever they're doing, make an executive decision. You sounded like a boss there, and I loved it. And I think it can carry over into life, into sports. I might write that down next time for myself. If I have to make a decision in my business, make an executive decision. And to do that for your mental health is so powerful and good for you. And you can make executive decisions now because you've done it and you realize it worked out. I'm glad you found Brandywine too, because it sounds like it's been an amazing place for you. All right, who wants to go next on that one?
I'll go next because I can kind of bounce off what she said. I didn't really have the best high school experience either. My coach, I just felt like he didn't really believe in me and the comments that he made and the things he did. So I remember my senior year, I had asked if he could lend out film, and this was right after COVID, so no one was able to attend our games. And there's only 2 seniors there, and he told me no, he wasn't going to do that, but he was going to do it for the other girl. And which is funny because the other girl, she had got recruited here, and she had brought me on the visit. And then when I met Coach, we started talking, and then that's how we exchanged information. And then I got recruited to come here. In high school, I just always knew I wanted to play college basketball, but I didn't think I'll be able to get there because I didn't really have much help from my coach. And then with it being COVID year and everything, it was a little hard, but yeah, I'm here. So that's all that matters.
So did you go with that other player? Did you ask to go? How did you end up going with that other player to the visit?
She had asked me. I'm not really sure how that worked just because it was the year after COVID, but she had asked me to go with her, and then I took the tour with her, and then my coach was asking about me and asking if I wanted to play college basketball and where I was looking at and stuff and how my grades. And then he just asked me to exchange my contact information. And then a few weeks later, he had reached out, and then I got recruited to play here.
So Sierra, what I am pulling from that, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong with this, but we have people in our lives that sometimes don't see our greatness, and that's okay. It's our vision, not theirs. It hurts. It sucks. Of course, I think he should have done that, sent the film out and kind of think it was his job, but we have a decision to make there. We can step back and say, maybe I'm not good enough. Or you can take action. And when someone says, do you want to come on the visit or do it yourself? And that's what you did. People have a decision to make when somebody doesn't show up for you. in sports, in life, you can let that be the end or decide, I'm going to figure out a different way because everything is figure outable. I think that's a journey you can grow from and learn from. And in some ways, he put a little gasoline on the fire for you to go and have this basketball career at Penn State Brandywine and run cross country. And when you're maybe diving on the ball this year, thinking about that cross country, like I'm going to go get it. Same thing's going to carry over. So it's interesting how that happens. And I've had that happen in different areas of my life. And sometimes I want to go back and be like, see, but it's not worth it for me. I don't go and do that. But I was thinking to myself about that. And I think the best way to look at it for people who are listening is do it for yourself, not for the person who didn't do the film or didn't show up the way you expected them to, because it's our journey. So I'm glad you're here.
Today, I believe that you really just only have yourself, and whatever you, like I said at the beginning, whatever you put your mind to, you can do. So if you have someone who's not showing up for you in any aspect in your life, just show up for yourself and you'll get the results that you want.
Yeah. And when you do show up for yourself, I hear you, you do have yourself, but then you do find people like your coach that sees you now and your teammate and those other people. So you have to show up for yourself first. I think it's that looking within, and then you do find your people, they will find you because you put that vibe out there that you're here for it. So the people who are truly there for it and want to be surrounded by you will. All right, we got Lexi or Jamar. Do you want to share?
Yeah, I'll go. Kind of throughout when I went to Korea and started new sports, I kind of became known as this like bubbly, fun, hardworking person, but I was also very, I guess it radiated to the other players. So coaches would come to me at some point and like expect me to bring the team's energy up, and it kind of built this mindset throughout my entire volleyball career that I wasn't allowed to have a bad day, because I'm also a very expressive person. So if I'm in my head, you can tell, but it doesn't look like that to other people. They might think I'm pissed off or irritated or mad at them and even during bad games, coaches would come up to me, hey, what's going on? We need you to bring everybody up. We need you to, and it kind of built this thing where the weight is on your shoulders. The whole weight of the team, you need to make sure everyone's having a good time kind of thing. And then it threw me in my own head when I wasn't performing how I felt I needed to. And I think in ways I've grown a lot. And I would tell anybody going through that or feeling like they need to be the person to bring the energy up or they need to bring their entire team up, that it's not all on your shoulders. And at the end of the day, you set goals for yourself and for your team. And you just have to do what you can, but you can't expect to be that person for everybody. So you do what you can and you keep your energy up. And you try your best to support your teammates, but people can only be helped if they want to be helped. Be supportive in ways that you can, but don't expect that you have to do it yourself. Because I'm sure there were plenty of other teammates that could have also helped with the energy, but I was pinpointed, so that was hard. But where I am now mentally, I think just learning that, hey, I'm allowed to have a bad day. I'm allowed to be off my game, and it shouldn't impact other people. And if it does, just telling people, hey, I'm not mad at you. It has nothing to do with you, I promise. I'm upset because I just hit into the net and I shouldn't have. Or just that communication and knowing that it's not all your fault if the team isn't playing to what it should be, or if if people are upset at themselves, you never know. So just to communicate and ask. Yeah.
I love that. And I think that what a great quality to bring that positivity, but also a lot of heaviness to have to do it for everyone. The tip at the end there, communicate and ask. I think that's great for everybody, be able to communicate. Is there something that you would say to a young athlete that they could say? I'm trying to think of a way that they could say, maybe it's just, I'm having a bad day. That's a lot to ask a player to say, hey, everybody, you need to get the rest of the team. Like looking back, if there's anything that maybe you did do something. Was there a moment where you realized, I have to do this a little differently? I heard you say I'm in a good place mentally now.
Yeah.
How did you do that? If that person was trying to say like, I'm that person, I'm that player that the coach always wants me to be the one.
Yeah, I think number one for me was being okay with making those boundaries, just setting and communicating was the biggest thing, but also just reassuring myself. if that makes sense. I communicated it. I'm having a bad day, so if I don't talk much, I swear it's nothing personal. It's nothing, I swear. I'm really not mad at any of you. And like also still doing the little things. Like still supporting them in small ways, like, hey, good pass. Or hyping them up when they do something good, but not to a level where they expect you to do that all the time, maybe.
Right.
But I think boundaries was the biggest thing for me. Just communicating in the simplest way, guys, I'm having a bad day, or this happened today, or highs and lows. Like when my mom leaves, I'm like, my mom left today, I'm not in a good mood. Just like simple stuff like that made it better because then the girls, it's kind of like we could then support each other instead of me just feeling like I was supporting everyone else, if that
I
makes sense.
love that you just said that, Lexi. So many here, that they would boundary up, put the boundaries up, and it's okay and necessary. That's a life lesson. You're going to need boundaries in so many areas of life. But you have to put the boundaries up and communicate it because we start making stories in our head. Like, is that person mad at me? I did this, I did that. And you don't want that on your team. So just to simply say, I'm having a bad day. I just, my mom, this, even if you don't want to explain it, I'm having a bad day, or if you want to explain it. And that last part, let people support you. I know myself when I was an athlete, if my coach would say, are you good? I would always say, I'm good. Even when I wasn't good. And that was stupid of me. We didn't do that then. As my daughter says, the 1900s wasn't that long ago. But anyway, I would always say, I'm good. I'm good. And not that I would encourage my athletes. There was a situation where a lot of debate of the football player who tapped out, like, I need a rest. I'm not encouraging that. You need to learn how to navigate through and push yourself. But you also need to say, if your mental health, if you're having that day, you're going to keep encouraging, you're going to keep working, but I can't be the one to pump everyone up right now. You just need to communicate that. And let people support you. If you are upset, your mom left, or people go through things. We have no idea what other people are going through. And I'm not saying you have to vomit it all out, but let people support you, because chances are each one of you and everyone listening, you probably support other people way better than you support yourself. Let people support you, even if you just do it a little bit. I know it's myself. I don't want to speak for other people, but athletes, we tend to say, like, I'm good. Put me back in there. I lost a leg. I got another one. Right. So I love that at the end there. Let other people support you. All right, Jamar, we saved you for the last athlete. And Bobbi, you can share too, but from the 1900s, Bobbi, you could share. What do you got, Jamar?
All right. So my situation growing up, I played a whole lot of sports, a whole bunch of different ones. Like I did basketball, of course, played football, baseball, a little bit of soccer, did gymnastics, I ran track. So a whole lot of sports. So with basketball, when I finally wanted to settle down and play one sport, it was, I want to say, probably 7th grade, middle school, settled down for one sport. So by the time I got to high school, my freshman year, I wasn't the best at basketball, but I was still good because I've been playing it basically my whole life, but I just didn't take it serious until then. So freshman year, I played a little bit. I played JV. I wasn't on varsity yet. Sophomore year, I still played JV, but as this is going on, I am playing AAU. So that sophomore year AAU tournament, we lost a game, and the coach I had, he ended up telling the whole team, like, none of you guys have a future in basketball. Like, you guys are all bad at basketball. Just dissing us, basically. So I took that personally, kind of, because, like, I've been working really hard to try and play college basketball. So once he said that, I started working even harder. And so my junior year came, and then I ended up missing that whole season. I had to get a surgery. So by the time I came back my senior year, I was working that entire offseason to get back into everything. So our senior year, then coming into college, I had a few offers, but not many. And coming to Brandywine, I didn't have a Brandywine offer. So what happened was somebody I played AAU with was coming here to play basketball. So I figured, hey, I know him, so why not go play with him since I already had before? So I reached out to the coaches, sent them some of my film from my senior year, then hopped on a Zoom call, talked to them a little bit, and they liked what I had to offer for the team. And they offered me a spot on the team. And then coming in, I came in COVID year, so we didn't really have any games. But the year after that, my sophomore year, I ended up playing a lot.
That's incredible. So many things there. When a coach says something to a team like that, it does impact the team and an individual player. And just like I was saying to Sierra, you have a choice to make. And I'm glad you took the choice of, I'm going to work harder, because some players could say, I'm not good enough. And it goes right back to that self-talk. If you're somebody listening right now, or if you have an athlete and every time they get in your car after a practice, they're saying like, well, I'm not good enough and you just don't understand. And the coach is saying this, they have to look within, as a couple of you have already mentioned, and just keep working. You gain so many skills there. Of course, it's awesome that you're playing basketball, but those skills, they're going to stay with you in everything that you do. I mean, when you go get a job, you should tell that story, because if I was hiring someone and someone was just talking about those things, I would be like, this person, they're somebody who is a hard worker and they're willing to keep going and figuring it out as they go. And I think as coaches, the coaches who are listening, we say things sometimes as a coach in the heat of the moment. And, you know, when you lose a game, it's not about you as the coach. And you can learn so much from losing a game more than you do from winning. And the coaches who forget that, they make the records and the wins about them. And it's actually about the athletes. You're not the player, by the way, if you're the coach, and your job is to develop them and make them a better player from that loss. And I hate that that happened to you, Jamar, but in some ways, I'm kind of glad that it did, because it made you stronger. You know, I never want to see somebody talk to you like that from a coach, but you know, we learn from every situation. So thank you for sharing that. And, you know, if you're a coach right now, you make mistakes, you got to own it. And I don't know what that coach did next, but it's not about the mistake. It's what we do next. So learn from what Jamar just said, if you are a coach or if you are a player, because there's a lot to learn from that. So thank you for sharing that, Jamar. And I'm glad you landed at Penn State Brandywine. So you definitely have that Nittany Lion, like, toughness in you. You are exactly where you're meant to be. I truly do believe that for each one of you that was sharing stories. I personally, and I think everyone I meet, even if you can't see it at the time, we are exactly where we are meant to be every single step of the way, even if it sucks. And there's a reason for it. And we don't like it during that time. Of course, nobody wants to have a terrible situation, but there's a reason. There's a reason for it. All right, Bobbi, do you have anything from the 1900s that you can think of, or any situation like that?
I love it. Yeah, I feel like every athlete had something like that at one point or another. For me, it was my high school softball coach. Let's just say we didn't see eye to eye on everything. At that time, I had equally loved basketball and softball. I couldn't decide. I grew up in a softball family, but basketball is my passion. And my biggest regret probably in my entire athletic career is that I let this coach like dim my light. You know, I think she kind of like took the love of the game out of it for me. And at that time, you know, as a high schooler, I think I just rode with it. And I was like, all right, I like basketball more. I'm just going to play basketball in college. And I just think about that often. Like, my biggest regret is letting her make that decision for me, essentially. And after I then, you know, committed to come to Penn State Brandywine and play, you know, my senior year of high school with basketball, I then decided not to play softball my senior year, because I was like, you know what, it's basketball for me. I'm going to play in college and move on. And not playing my senior year after playing my entire life, in the moment, I just kind of brushed it off. But as an adult, I always look back and I'm like, why did I let somebody else, you know, help guide that decision? And anyway, that kind of helps me, you know, as an adult, just remember to kind of, you know, keep everything in perspective. I'm in control of my own decisions. And I certainly let that, you know, experience just kind of guide other areas of my life now. I'll never let that happen again.
Yeah. I love how you said you can look at it and reflect and not let that make your decision, but you know, it impacts it and guides you. And I got to say, I looked everybody up a little bit here. I've been watching you when I first reached out to you saying, oh, I'm starting this business. I was just getting started. I'm like, I would love to talk to some athletes, and came out to talk in the seminar class, I think. And then when I saw you at the Hall of Fame dinner, when one of my coaches, Brian, was getting inducted into that, I've watched you and you have this way of almost bringing a light out for other people. So I think in a way, you kind of light other people up, so to speak. Kind of sounds corny, but when you were saying the light thing, I feel like you're like that for other people. I don't know if that's purposeful or not.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I use that saying often, like dim your light or
okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you just don't want anyone to dim your light.
Well, you're doing a good job. I didn't know you used that saying. Okay.
Keep it bright, baby.
Yeah, definitely. Keep it bright. I love it. Yep. I love that. Thank you for everybody for sharing that. I don't want to keep you forever. I know you each have things to do. So I'm going to end with one last question that I ask all of my guests here, and you can choose whoever you want. And then we will, if you want to drop any links or anything, or you just want to tell people how they can find you or follow or come watch your team, we'll do that after this question. But the question that I ask every single guest who comes on The Champion Within is, if you had the opportunity to swap lives with anyone for just 1 week, we think you're amazing, we don't want you to be this person forever, who would you choose and why?
Ooh, that's a loaded question, Kate.
It is.
Anyone else ready to go while I ponder my decision?
I have someone.
Let me think.
Mara, you got someone?
I was going to say probably no one, honestly, just because somebody else's life may look better, like from the outside, but I always say the grass isn't always greener on the other side. With my life, there's some like trials and tribulations, but everybody has those. But with mine, I feel like everything that I've gone through to get to where I am at right now, I probably wouldn't have it any other way.
I wouldn't mind living that life of yours. I feel like you had some cool self-talk rolling through that head. I'll take that answer. Lexi, we're going to go to you. What do you got, Lexi?
I would say either my grandma or Simone Biles, just for fun. My grandma, she's just very much like, and obviously it's because of the things she's been through, but she's very much doesn't care what people think, does what she needs to do, what she wants to do. But she's also peaceful. Like, it's not in an aggressive way. It's, I am me, and whatever they do, it has no impact. I just want to, she kind of says the one time she just wants to float through the rest of her life and just be who she is, doesn't care, and do what she needs to do and enjoy her time with her family. So just to see that, I feel, and like experience that level of content with who she is and what she's been through. And Simone Biles, just because I used to be a gymnast, and she has so much power and so much athleticism, and also because of the attention she's gotten, how hard she's worked to build her mental health, just to kind of see what she's seen and have that amount of power as an athlete, just to be like, wow, I think it'd be cool. Because she's pretty incredible.
Yeah, very cool. Your grandmom sounds awesome. Float through life. I want to be your grandmom. Love her.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, love it. And Simone Biles, she has such a great impact on mental health and sport. She does the visualization stuff and self-talk. I love what she brings to the world. Make sure you remember that as you go through. Channel that, Simone Biles, and be that for whatever job you land in. But because I think you have mentioned it a couple of times, and it sounds like you already do it, but keep doing that. Love those answers. All right, Sierra, who do you got?
Honestly, I'm gonna say the same thing as Jamar, just because everything that's supposed to happen in our life is supposed to meant to happen. But if I could go back to the past, I would want to be myself like when I was younger, to just let myself know like everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna work out, and then like I said, whatever you put your mind to, you're gonna get, and that goes for anything in life.
What age, Sierra? What age are you going back to?
I would probably say the beginning of high school is probably like, 14, 15?
Mm-hmm.
Just because when you get to high school, it's such a big transition. And considering I am the oldest in my siblings and the only girl, I kind of really only have myself. So just to tell myself, like, you're going to be fine. Everything's going to work out, and to just continue to get better every single day.
I love that. I love that you're staying you and younger you, to go back and, kind of look through her eyes. So how many brothers do you have?
I have 2 brothers.
Okay. I'm the oldest, and then I have 3 brothers. So you're going to be in charge forever. Just warning you, but You're going to be a badass too. So that comes with it. All right. Anna, what do you got?
I would either choose my mom or my grandfather. But I'm going to go with my grandfather. If I could be him for a day, he just has that hustle culture. Sorry if you hear the dogs. He has that hustle culture. He grew up in South Philly. His parents were immigrants from Italy. And he had his own deli. They lived like right above it. Just him being so determined to start his own business kind of just instilled that in me. And my dad passed it on. He's what sparked my love for like baseball and softball. So just his mentality is something that motivates me. So I would love to be him and just in his head for a day.
So now I can't decide if I want to be Lexi's grandmom or your grandpop. This is a tough decision now. Hustle culture, South Philly's got his own deli. I just love this. Very cool. What a good answer. Thank you for sharing that. You better go tell him. And go tell him after this that you picked him. All right,
definitely.
Bobbi. Yeah, you should. You should. That was a cool answer. Bobbi, who do you got?
All right, Kate, you really have me stumped on this one, I gotta tell you. But I'm gonna go with one of the two most, in my eyes, elite athletes of all time. I'm going with either Tom Brady or Kobe Bryant. And one of those two, because I feel like mentally they have prepared themselves. R.I.P. Kobe. I mean, I cheer off every time I think about it. But those two athletes specifically stand out to me as people that have dedication is just so deep. Like I can't even, everything they do in terms of their entire life at the peak of their, and to be very specific, I'm talking peak of career in terms of how they prep their body mentally, prepared for every moment. I think it's just at such an elite level that us as like normal athletes really probably can't even comprehend how elite they did everything to prepare for their big moments. I'm going to either go Tom Brady or Kobe Bryant.
Very good choices. I would love to be in either one of their brains. I mean, it's especially the work I do now. I use Kobe. I use Kobe a lot as an example. Just a lot of the different, like leaning into that Mamba mentality and visualization and self-talk. He played Ridley when I was a senior. He was a senior. So we know it was 1996 now. If we want to know the 1900s, not that I could care less.
Love it.
But I remember everyone just being so, wow, Kobe's here. And he shook my hand and they didn't want to wash their hand. And then to watch him go through and the things he would say, and, obviously we lost him too soon, but we still are learning from him, little video clips and different things of the way he approached practice and his teammates and different things. So to be inside his brain, and it would be awesome. And Tom Brady as well. I think it's two very good choices. And that is a tough question. You're right. Definitely a tough question. Thank you so much to all of you. Is there anyone who wants to drop any specific links? And then we can make sure that everybody clicks on those on the show notes.
Yeah, I'll start. Would love to encourage everyone to come out and support Brandywine Athletics. Everyone can find our website, psubrandywineathletics.com. Check out all of our schedules, our rosters. Come out, support our student athletes. They're working really hard, and we love to see people, especially our alumni, come back and cheer on our student athletes.
Awesome. I will definitely put that in the show notes so people can click on that, and they should be back there seeing all of our Penn Staters in action. And even if you're not a Penn Stater and you're able to get there, I tell parents, take your kids to watch an older athlete play. I used to do that when I was a health and phys ed teacher. I would have athletes come when I was at the elementary level before I moved to the high school. I would have athletes come, and I got lucky and they would volunteer their time to work with our kids. And it was role model behavior, but also to see a really good player when you're young can be inspiring, and they learn from them. So go bring your kid and watch these athletes in action. Does anybody else have any links that they want to drop so someone can follow you or connect with you in any way?
I'll say if anyone wants to take a look at our women's basketball page, just because the season is now about to start. It'd be very great to see some people out there cheering us on. And yeah.
I'm gonna shout out myself. I do have my own Instagram, and it's like inside like college athlete, sort of like nutrition, how I'm taking care of myself, and just like that balance. I'll send it to you so you can like link it. But
definitely. Yeah, always shout out yourself. I'm here for that. And they can click in the show notes of the podcast. So you don't have to go search, just click right on it so they can connect and follow. Love that. Jamar, Lexi, do you have anything you want to share, or we can just make sure they follow you as an athlete?
Say, basically following up of what Bobbi said, if they check the team schedule on the website, we do have a
Yeah, definitely encouraging people to get out there. I love it.
The only thing I would shout out, if you can't make it in person, the Brandywine Athletics live stream. Go watch the ball. It's so good.
Love it. I'm glad you said that because there might be some people who can't make it. Maybe they're not close by or for whatever reason they can't make it. Get on there and watch them anyway. I'm glad you said that. We can put that in there too. I will put all those links. I talked a couple times about things that we're doing now and in the future with the athletes. They will be out in the world making a change. And I mentioned all of these skills that they're gaining during their time as an athlete, being a college student and an athlete. That in itself is something that not everyone has. So when you can do that and become a college athlete, you gain so many different skills that future employers are going to want to have. So if there's somebody listening right now who's in the corporate space or in any kind of different space and you're thinking, maybe I want to connect with them when they graduate or right now for an internship or something like that, you should send me an email, send me a message, and I will make sure that you are connected. These are my Nittany Lions, even though I am not with them right now on campus. Those who know me know that I love the Nittany Lions, and we will make sure that you get connected with them in one way or another. Thank you again to everybody, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you for listening to The Champion Within, and go crush your week. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Whether you are going to coach, teach, cheer from the stands, or hit the field yourself, remember, mindset is everything. Don't forget to follow the show because we all need a little extra motivation, humor, and some sanity in our busy lives. Go unleash that champion within you, one step at a time. I'm rooting for you always.